Let's talk about one of the traps of modern living that you have to be careful of, especially if you're a man. What I'm talking about is cowardice enabling technology. We all know that there are aspects of modern life that are not exactly healthy. What I want to share with you here is a reframe that really helped me in many ways. One of the ways in which we get hooked on technology is because it is so convenient. That's generally how technology wins, right? Whether it is hardware or software, it is the thing that is most convenient, the thing that saves you the most time, the thing that removes as much friction as possible comes out on top. And when that convenience is pressing a few buttons on a machine instead of spending hours washing clothes by hand, that is a win for everyone. When the convenience is that you have something that tickles your brainstem and gives you spurts of dopamine on demand at any moment, then as a user of that thing, you're getting benefits that are maybe doing more harm than good. But there's one type of convenience that I think is especially dangerous, and that is cowardice. I mean, think about it. It is more convenient to be a coward than to do something courageous, right? I mean, that's the very thing about courage, is that you're afraid. You don't want to do it. You'd rather not. So something comes along and says, hey, here, you don't have to anymore. Of course, the temptation is to jump on that chance. What do I mean by cowardice enabling tech? The best example of this is Tinder and all of the dating apps that followed it. It is a replacement for whatever courageous action you would have to take to meet someone, to ask someone out, to do the whole courtship thing, especially, specifically for that first step, where you somehow have to make a move. You somehow have to tell someone that you're interested. Of course, that is scary, and the dating apps come along and say, hey, don't worry, you don't have to do any of that. You just swipe a bunch and you only engage with someone when there is a match, when there's already mutual interest. It takes away the need for taking that courageous step. Another example of this is, unfortunately, video games, at least some forms of video games. And look, I'm not someone who thinks that video games are in general categorically bad, but I do think it is harmful when video games become a replacement for young men, where instead of going out and having adventures, having their band, their hunting party with whom they explore the world and do perhaps some reckless things, they have a replacement adventure in a video game. We get some kind of a substitute of that feeling. And also we get a stronger reward loop. In a video game, we can get rewarded so quickly, so frequently. We can level up our character, we can get points, we can get new gear, we can conquer the lands, we can do whatever the thing is so much more rapidly than we could ever do any of these things in real life. And in this way, a video game can present itself as a more attractive alternative to the real thing. And there are many more examples of tools and modern conveniences that have this kind of effect. It has become too easy to endlessly distract ourselves, to immediately soothe and medicate away the pain and discomfort, and to even outsource our very decision-making to AI tools. We can go through our day always giving in to the inner coward. We can win fake victories in fake battles. We can gain fake accomplishments. And when it all feels a bit hollow, we can distract ourselves from that discomfort as well. Why is this especially problematic for men? Well, I think the core of masculinity is about taking courageous action. So much of what we want from life and what we want from ourselves as men is tied to this. It comes from our ability to take courageous action. And so much of what women want from us ultimately comes from this as well. It seems that lately there's been a surge of women complaining about, well, the lack of masculinity in modern men. And frankly, I understand it, because if there's a lack of men around who have real competence, who have the deep kind of calm that only comes from having weathered some battles, only comes from having had some real life experience. If you don't have people around who have the strength that comes from taking risks and falling on your face a bunch of times and eventually learning how to make it through, then of course that creates a feeling of a lack of safety and a lack of stability. It feels for women like they have to do it. And even though of course the messaging has been that yes, women can do it, they can do it all, they don't need men, they can be strong themselves and so on, many of them discover that yes, women can be the man in their own life, but most of them don't want to. But even apart from that, I think that as a man, if you don't develop these qualities, if you constantly give in to the coward, it creates a feeling of unsettledness. It creates a feeling of something is missing, something is hollow. It creates a drive. I think there is a drive in us that basically wants to fulfill this. And that drive is exactly what's being hijacked by cowardice enabling tech. Right? We think, well, okay, what I need is I need to beat the next level in a video game. And the problem self-perpetuates, because what you really need is to do something that is scary. For me, this has ultimately been a useful way to think about it because, well, I don't want to be a coward. And this connects to the idea of integrity, of being totally honest, first of all, with yourself. Because what I noticed is that one of the problems I was suffering from is that I didn't have clear boundaries. I was unable to speak my desires, ask for what I want. I was unable to set boundaries with other people. And I was doing a lot of like self-sacrificey stuff. I was doing a lot of self-abandonment. And I was telling myself that it was a noble thing. I was like, I'm doing this because I'm a good person, because I want to take care of someone else or something like that. But once I really paid attention, what I realized is, no, actually I'm doing this because I'm a coward. I'm doing this because I'm scared. And this is where the reframe and thinking about it as a cowardice problem becomes really useful. As a man, I don't want to be a coward. And once I admit to myself, hey, I'm doing certain things out of cowardice, and then telling myself a lie about why I'm doing it, that changes everything. As soon as I bring that level of honesty to it, it's like I cannot continue lying to myself, and then changing my behavior becomes easier, because all of a sudden doing something courageous is actually less painful than continuing to live as a coward and having to face that. So this is a reframe that somehow touched something in me and made it easier for me to change my behavior in a way that's made my life better ever since. I hope it does the same for you. And if you're curious to learn more about this whole idea of integrity and how to develop it, check out the video linked below, as well as the first link in the description will take you to my free integrity email course. It basically gives you an exercise which is, to me, the best starting point for developing integrity, and then walks you through that exercise as well as some follow-ups over the course of a few days. So check out the first link in the description, sign up there. That's all for now, and I'll see you in the next one.